14 human bodies lined up in a row. So considering I just said 14 human bodies, what is going to be the main target for a gun like this? What was that? Human bodies, of course. Soldiers lined up in a big long row just like you guys are right now. So, now it comes time for an example. Whoa, what was that you just did? You ducked. Look at this. I didn't even need to ask what to do. You already knew. So when we are firing cannons at you, the prime goal isn't actually to put holes in it. What we are trying to do is get you to do that. Now when you're ducking and when you're covering and when you're bumping into each other trying to get out of the way of a rampaging cannonball, what are you not doing to the guys shooting at them? What? Shooting. You're not trying to kill them. So we, without killing you, have stopped you from killing us. And we will keep up this pressure on and on and on with a cannon like that. Now let's go a little bit farther, shall we? You guys over here are my ambush cadre. That means you guys are lying in wait. I am going to fire a cannonball past your ear this way. What do you do? All right. I bounce a cannonball across the ground this way. What do you do? Yeah. And so I keep doing it, so what do? And now at last, ladies, is yours. So you see what I've just done. I have used basic human fear to control my enemy's movements. I don't care how brave you think you are, ladies and gentlemen. Every human being on this planet will react if something bigger than their head and faster than a speeding bullet flies past their ear. In fact, just look at how you're reacting to that bee. And that's not even a cannonball. So, what we are doing is we are taking advantage of these basic human fears in order to use cannons as a primitive form of mind control. So we can control our enemy's movements just by firing one bolt from that cannon. So, let's make this even better. When they captured you, this is what the thing is. And I'm sorry to disappoint you because you looked really eager to tear him apart. But you don't want to tear your enemy apart. You don't want to hurt them. What you want to do is you want to capture them in one piece and keep them healthy. Because if you keep them healthy, you can then return them to their side for a fee. In other words, capturing people and selling them back to their army is a side hustle for artillerists. So what we are going to be doing with this is a mixture. Human hole punch, mind control, and side hustle. Now, if this were a video game, I would wager that something that could do all that would be pretty much a cheat code or a game breaker, wouldn't you? All right, so why aren't entire armies made up of just cannons? You're edging so close to it. Cannons can't capture people, but humans sure can. That's one reason, yes. Oh, they can't really shoot when they duck. Quite right. Cannons can only do so much. So what we are talking about here is a gun that does fire slowly over a long distance, but it can't capture people, and it certainly can't shoot fast enough to deal with enemy infantry oncoming. And here's the other part, the one that I haven't heard yet. How many people do you think it takes to fire a gun like that? 3, 4, 7, I'm hearing. A lot, which is a cop-out. 0 points. 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes 12 people to load and fire a cannon like this.
Oh my God.
6 people to actually work the gun safely, and 6 people to watch the cannon jump back when it recoils, go and get it back, and haul it back into position. So what that means is, if you have an army of, say, 100 people, your choices are either to have 100 guys with muskets, a one-man firearm that can be used once every 15 seconds, or you could have an army of about 10 cannons. 9 cannons, mostly. So 9 cannons means 9 shots every 30 seconds as opposed to 100 shots every quarter of a minute. You can see where I'm going with this, right? No? Well, let me spell it out for you. If you see those people over there, right? That's a pretty small group by my reckoning. But even at that distance away, if they were using muskets against me and my crew over here, they would be able to outspeed me, outshoot me, and shoot all of us dead before we could get a single shot off. So what that means is we want to have a group of soldiers, much like you guys, fighting them first. And then we can take care of them with cannons later. So cannons are more of a support than anything else. Now, I've talked a lot about the thing itself. Now let's talk about the people. Cannons don't work on their own. They require a very specific kind of person to use. So let me turn this on you guys. Can you guys read? I should be hearing a lot more yeses than I did.
I can.
Can you guys do basic math?
Yes.
Can you guys do basic chemistry or physics? Maybe I'm too early in the unit here. All right. Well, eventually you'll get there. Here's another question. How many of you guys can speak a second language? All right. That's more than I expected, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we have to take Spanish.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going for with this is everything you just took for granted. The reading, the writing, the arithmetic, all of that. Most adults in the 18th century really can't do that. So, what we are left with is a group of people who are unique. And what that means is, to fire a cannon, you have to be able to do math, because you need to be able to calculate the angle of your shot, the distance to your target. You need to be able to calculate wind resistance to your projectile. You need to know chemistry in order to make the gunpowder. You need to know physics in order to predict where the cannonball is going to fall and how far your range is. You need to be able to write down your experiments in a notebook and read other people's experiment notes so that you don't blow yourself up on accident. And you need to be able to communicate across language barriers, because if you capture enemies' experiment notes and they're in Spanish or in French, you need to be able to understand them and translate them. So what that means is, if it comes down to it, artillerists are taught to preserve themselves before the gun. So when we're captured, we leave the gun behind. No point in saving the gun. We can make a new one. We can't make another smart guy, however. That takes a lot of time and a lot of resources and a lot of schooling. So when you go over to the infantryman over there, the guy using the musket that just shot, he's gonna tell you pretty much the exact opposite. Infantrymen can be as stupid as they please, because all they need to do is point and pull trigger. Artillerists don't have that luxury, and that's my thesis. Now, at this point, I'll invite you forward a little, because there are two things you won't be seeing from artillery demonstrations later today. And that's the mortar back here and the howitzer over here. Cannons shoot straight forward. Mortars shoot like gunpowder-powered catapults. Instead of being able to just shoot through people, we use those to throw bombs over the walls of forts. Those bombs are about the size of your head and will explode at the level of your head before they hit the ground. Which means, if you guys are trying to duck and dodge, you won't be able to duck because the bomb's here and it explodes downward as well. Run forward into the next bomb? I don't think so, lad. So what you are going to be doing when the bombs fall from the sky is hopefully take shelter in those buildings, under here, etc., etc. And once more, what can you not do to your enemy when you're hiding from the bomb blast? Shoot them, exactly. So, bombs are not even meant to blow people up. They are also meant as terror weapons, to sow confusion and chaos. And then we get to this. The howitzer is a mix of the cannon and the mortar. It can shoot over walls, but it also can shoot straight ahead as well. Trouble is, it's not going to be able to shoot as big of a bomb as a mortar, and it certainly isn't going to be able to shoot as far as a cannon. What it's designed to do is instead be loaded with a bunch of smaller musket balls, making it into a giant shotgun. So that means if you guys are packed as tightly as you are right now here, a few of those cannonballs are going straight through you in a wide cone. So this is predominantly going to be an anti-infantry weapon. Whereas those other two are meant for terror tactics, making people afraid, making them move around. I can't sugarcoat it. This is meant to destroy things.
Yeah.
That is the howitzer's sole function. Only trouble is, you only get 2 of them per artillery detachment. And they're used to fill in the gaps in the line. So let's say, I don't know, you're out on the battlefield. You need 22 mortars. You have 18 mortars and 2 howitzers. You can use a howitzer as a spare mortar. That's the sort of thing this is. It's like the Swiss Army knife of artillery. You aren't going to use it for everyday things, but you're certainly going to use it to fill in and survive. So I've done a little bit of a crash course in artillery, artillerists, and all that. Before I turn you loose, are there any further questions, queries, concerns, insults, or assertions of superior knowledge for me to address? Blank looks.
Yes. Neither do I. Neither.
Well, at least you're honest, I'll give you that. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I turn you back to your commanding officers.
Okay, guys. I'll do part 3. Let's do it.